For more than a decade, Magnus Carlsen wasn't just a chess champion. He was chess. We're talking five-time world champion, a guy who completely rewrote how the game is played. And then, right at the peak of his powers, he did something nobody saw coming. He basically tore up the rulebook and became a rebel, threatening to bring the entire chess world down with him. And that's really the million-dollar question here, isn't it? Why would the undisputed king, a living legend, risk absolutely everything, his reputation, his legacy, to essentially start a war? Well, to figure that out, we have to go right back to where all the chaos began. You know, it all kicked off with this one super cryptic post. After a shocking loss in a huge tournament, Magnus didn't give an interview or release a statement. Nope, he just tweeted this video of a football manager, Jose Mourinho, basically saying, "If I speak, I'm in big trouble." And with that one little move, he lit a match, and the entire chess world just went up in flames. This one act, this single tweet, shoved the quiet world of chess right into the global spotlight. It sparked a massive scandal, and the king himself was right at the center of it. So, picture this. It's the prestigious Sinqua Field Cup. Magnus is on this unbelievable 53-game winning streak, and then he loses. And he doesn't just lose to anybody. He loses to a 19-year-old grandmaster, Hans Niemann. Now look, in elite chess, upsets happen. But what doesn't happen is the world champion just getting up and withdrawing from the whole tournament. It was completely unprecedented. But believe it or not, withdrawing was just the start. The whole conflict escalated dramatically. As you can see, his next move was even more shocking. He resigned an online game against Niemann after a single move. I mean, that's just a stunning protest. The chess world absolutely exploded. FIDE, the game's governing body, had to step in and reprimand him. Niemann fired back with a massive lawsuit. And yeah, eventually they reached a settlement, but the damage was done. To really understand the man who would risk so much, we have to rewind the clock. Because long before all the controversy, there was this quiet kid from Norway who, well, seemed like he was just destined to change the game forever. His brain was just wired differently. I mean, at 5 years old, long before chess, he was memorizing all the municipalities in Norway. For fun, his whole chess journey started pretty simply. He just wanted to beat his older sister. But by the time he was 13, he was a different animal. He was going toe-to-toe with the world's #1 player, Garry Kasparov, and he'd already become one of the youngest grandmasters in history. His first coach, Simon Agdestein, tells this amazing story about a 9-year-old Magnus just demolishing an older student. And the other kids weren't laughing at Magnus. They were laughing at his opponent because he was getting so badly beaten by this very little boy. It was obvious even back then that this kid was just on a completely different level. So from that incredible start, Magnus didn't just climb to the top of the mountain. He built a whole empire up there that would last for 10 years.
I mean, the numbers really do speak for themselves. 5 classical world championship titles. That's the absolute pinnacle of chess. But check this out. He also won the Triple Crown. That's holding the world titles in classical, rapid, and blitz chess all at the same time. And he did it 3 different times. To put that in perspective, nobody else has ever even done it once. And if you want to understand his dominance, just look at this number, 125. That's how many classical chess games he played over 2 years, from 2018 to 2020, without a single loss. It's a record for invincibility that might honestly never be broken.
And to put that streak into perspective, look at this number, 2745. That was the average rating of his opponents during that streak. Now, if you're not a chess nut, that basically means he was playing against someone equivalent to a top 20 player in the entire world every single time he sat down at the board. And for 125 games straight, he never lost. It's mind-boggling. So how in the world did he do it? Well, it wasn't just about being smarter. He sparked a revolution in playing style. When he won his first world championship, his opponent, Vishy Anand, represented the modern way. Tons of computer prep, memorizing openings. Carlsen's whole strategy was to blow that up. He would deliberately steer the game into messy, unpredictable territory to make it a psychological fight.
A battle of intuition, not a battle of who has a better computer.
And don't let his calm look fool you. The man was absolutely ruthless. When a reporter asked him if he enjoyed watching his opponents squirm, he was brutally honest. He said, "Yes, I do. I enjoy it when I see my opponent really suffering." For him, psychological warfare was just as important as any piece on the board. So he had the titles, the records, complete and total dominance. What do you do next? Well, if you're Magnus Carlsen, you walk away from it all. It's not that he'd fallen out of love with playing chess. Not at all. He'd fallen out of love with wearing the crown. After a decade, the whole World Championship cycle, we're talking months of grueling, computer-driven preparation for just one long match, it had become like a creative prison for him. He felt like he had nothing left to prove in that specific format. And, as he later said, he had already decided back in 2021, during his last title defense, that that was it for him. So even though he qualified to defend his title again, he made it official. He was abdicating. The best player in the world was just giving up the throne, letting other people fight for a crown that he just didn't want anymore. But walking away from the title wasn't an ending. For Carlsen, it was really a new beginning. He wasn't retiring, he was on a mission to completely reimagine the future of the game itself. And his big idea revolves around something called Chess 960, also known as Fisher Random. The concept is actually brilliant in how simple it is. Before every game, the pieces on the back rank are shuffled into one of 960 random starting positions. And what's the point? To instantly make all that memorized opening theory, the very thing he'd grown to hate, completely useless. So why is he so passionate about this? Well, it's because it forces pure creativity right from the very first move. There are no roadmaps to memorize. It's immediately a raw contest of talent and intuition, which is exactly the kind of chess Magnus loves to play. It makes sure the game is what he's always wanted it to be, a real battle of human minds, not a battle of who has the best computer. So what's next for the Rebel King? He may have given up the throne, but he definitely hasn't lost his ambition. He set a brand new goal for himself, to become the first human being ever to reach a 2900 rating, a height that was once thought to be impossible. Because for Magnus Carlsen, it was never really just about the title. It's always been about the challenge. He's no longer just playing the game. He's reshaping it in his own image.